Welcome to Carmel, well known for great beaches, world-class golf, Clint Eastwood sightings, and my favorite real estate icon, Ben Beesley of Keller Williams Coastal Estates. Not only have Ben and Team Beesley achieved the status as one of the top producing teams on the Monterey Peninsula, he's also raised the bar for giving back to his community. Let's follow him into his mega team office and see how he does it.
Business Center at lovely Carmel by the Sea with Mr. Ben Beesley. Ben,
Michael, thank you. Thank you for everything you just said. I'd like to meet that guy someday.
Well, we'll see what you feel after this interview.
Okay.
What year did you start doing real estate?
I got my license on my birthday in 2002.
So let's go back to your first year in business.
Yes, sir.
If you knew then what you know now, what would you have done differently?
How important the database is. At that point, people did floor and they did open houses and things like that. And I was mildly successful, but I really didn't. And I grew up here. I was born in Carmel. I went to Carmel Mission. I was baptized at Carmel Mission. I went to schools all around here. And my family was all here. So we were pretty well vested in the community, and I did not tap into that until much later.
What does your database look like? I mean, how would you describe it?
We have about 3,000 contacts in our database. We have our top connectors, our influencers. We have agents, outside of agents and agents. We have vendors, and then we have our database, which is our A's, A pluses, B's, and C's. And we go through that every week at some level.
So tell me about your lead gen activities. What works really well for you?
Is getting involved in the community. I'm involved with 3 different chambers. I helped start a Rotary Club. I volunteered with the Carmel Chamber of Commerce. I'm very, very vested in my community. That's my main lead generation activity. But then beyond that, I realized that we get about 25% of our leads from outside agents. So being in front of them, whether it be teaching classes, attending classes, being on committees, or just kind of communicating as much as we possibly can through masterminds.
What have you invested in time or money that has been just a waste of time?
I admire those that can do calls, cold calling. I need warm calls. I need almost hot calls. I need people to know that they can't wait to hear from me. For me, that doesn't work. There's a lot of ways to get a piece of business. You're going to have to do things that you enjoy doing to get most of your business. You have to do things you don't want to do at times, but I realized you could put a ton of money in things that I don't want to do. It's not going to be successful. You really got to kind of put all in on the things you really enjoy doing. And some people, like the guy on my team, Corey Artemis, he's awesome. He loves calling. So we're investing into that, Arch Agent or whatever it is. I wouldn't do all of that.
And do you think people get confused with all the stuff that comes at us that you could do, they get overwhelmed and they come up with a little paralysis?
100%. Oh yeah. I mean, or everything, the shiny penny. Okay, this will work. And then, okay, it didn't work today, so I'm going to try this one.
Yeah.
And I tell a lot of people, every system works as long as you work that system.
Right.
And hopefully you enjoy doing that.
Another great saying I love is you don't have to do everything, but you have to do something.
Exactly.
If it's one thing. How do you use social media in your business?
So we use it in our business. We have our business page. We have we not only with Facebook, with Instagram. We're now getting more heavily in LinkedIn because there's so many things we can do with that. We're doing a lot more videos too. So we're tapping that into our social media. And then we have some fun with it. We have a Tuesday trivia once a month where we come up with a trivia question and we put a spin on it in that everybody, we put $1 in for everybody that responds, and then we're going to take whoever wins that, we're going to donate to their charity and blow it up on social media. We've done 3 video series, out-of-state investing, 2 of them, and then we did a Prop 19, and so we're using social media to help promote that.
I love the videos that you do, especially the Facebook Live, because it really lets people get to know you.
Yeah, it's not always about real estate, it's about caring for your clients, and one way to reach them is through social media. We all want to care for other people, and so you just show a little bit, and then you do that in a personal note or a phone call, just remember what's going on, and we all have lives, and there's a lot of different aspects to our lives, and it's not all about real estate, but it's what's the notion, you don't know how much they care until you show them how much you care for them or something. It's 100%, and that's easy. I mean, it's not real estate. It's not cold calling. It's saying, okay, yeah, I care about you. And one of my favorite things I say, and I do that in phone calls and Facebook messages and notes. It's like, you crossed my heart and my mind today. How are you? And I can't tell you the positive responses.
So when I had a team, one of my favorite marketing pieces was to say, hey, this is what a solo agent is. So I put the solo agent smack in the middle of the paper, and I put all these lines and said all the different hats they wear. So it looked like one person is overwhelmed with all these tasks. Or hey, come to my team, and we have a department for marketing, we have a listing coordinator, we have buyer agents, we have a transaction coordinator, et cetera, et cetera. So, and solo agents didn't like that. So now I don't believe you do that particular marketing piece, but if I'm a solo agent in the business and I'm doing a listing appointment and they say, well, I'm talking to another agent. Well, who is that? Well, it's Team Beesley. Oh no. What advice would you give that agent to tell that client they're competing against you? How can they best communicate why it's, there's advantages to being a solo agent versus a team?
Well, I mean, first of all, I think Team Beesley is the best. Let's just put that aside.
Of course, we're going to say that.
but in that case, if I was a solo agent, but Mr. Seller, I am all in. You're going to get my 100% undivided attention to make sure that you get this sold. You're not going to be talking to anybody else. You're not going to be, because when you talk to 2 or 3 other people, it gets watered down. It might not be the same message as when you and I talk. So everything that you need, everything that's important to you, you're telling me. It's not getting watered down to anybody else. So let's make sure that we take care of everything you need, you and I, and get you where you want to go.
Yeah, nice. So, you ever been in a slump?
Oh yeah.
How do you pull out? What did you do to pull out?
Well, and by the way, one of the things that I've always had, at least in the last probably, even with Polo Banker in 2002, I've always had a coach. And the coaches that know me well, when I start stressing out, meaning because I'm in a slump, oh, something's gonna happen now. Because you create activities. And so it's the slumps hopefully don't last long, but they know, oh Ben, you know that you're a little scared because you don't have the listings right now, things will start happening. And it does.
And your mother,
yeah,
she's a very well-known person around town, not just as a real estate agent, but just as a person. Tell me, what was her major influence on you?
Her name's Arlene Beesley. She passed away in 2008. She she started Women's Council of Realtors, or helped start Women's Council of Realtors. She was former chair of the board of the Monterey County Association of Realtors. She volunteered for everything. My favorite part of every week or month is when somebody remembers my mom. And many of them said, your mom was the first person to take the time to talk to me about business. Your mom was the first person that did this. It's her attention. I don't know how she had that much time to talk to that many people, because everybody said that's the difference. And when my mom passed away, I had some friends that said, I need to do more. I don't do enough for my community or my volunteers, because I'm looking at this woman who truly made a difference. And I think that's what I'm living up to.
Last question of the day. Why did you choose Keller Williams, part one? And the second part is why you stay.
So I was with another company, as most people have been, and I was introduced. It's a great story, especially in the region. You'll love this. I went to, it was either CAR or NAR, and I had heard about Keller Williams. I'd listened to a couple of Gary's podcasts, or it wasn't podcasts back in the day, but what we were listening to, and had the Red Book, and I was intrigued. We didn't have a Keller Williams office here yet, and I went to the Keller Williams booth because I had an Austin referral. It's okay, Keller Williams based in Austin. I went up and talked to the first person I talked to. I said, I've got an Austin referral. She goes, who are you? And I said, Ben Beesley from Carmel. She goes, Carmel. Well, that was George Alcazar, who's the regional director for Florida. She immediately introduced me to a guy named Gene Fredericks. Oh my God, now you got to meet Beth Steiner. Those are my first 3 contacts, and every one of them took the time and was excited to meet me. The other company, I had been there for, and I did okay, but I didn't have anybody coming up and saying, oh my God, you're so, and we didn't even have an office down here. It wasn't even a dream yet. That's when I said, it's got to be Keller Williams. And we started meeting the right people, and within 2 years we opened up an office, and I've never looked back since. So your second part of the question is, why do I stay? You've heard me say this before. I honestly don't understand why everybody's out KW. Whether it be, the open book that we have, just, okay, we're gonna show, you how I do business, like what we're doing right now. If it's the culture, if it's the technology, if it's the vision, if it's, I mean, we've got the Steve Jobs of real estate, Gary Keller. This is one of the few days I'm not wearing a Keller Williams shirt. I mean, I have, my closet has KW because I'm just so proud of it. And anyways, it's an easy decision.
Well, I know the Keller Williams in Carmel and also the Keller Williams in general, we're lucky that you've decided to continue your career here. And I appreciate your taking the time today. I know you have things to do and places to go and people to see and all that good stuff. And thank you so much for taking out the time.
Absolutely.